The purpose of the Global CFO Council is to provide an educational and networking forum for senior financial executives in order to share best practices, discuss current financial issues, and to learn about current topics related to the performance of their jobs. Membership is open to senior financial executives, including CFOs, financial VPs, and treasurers. We hope that you'll become a member of the Global CFO Council today. To join, please visit the membership tab at globalcfocouncil.com.
Good afternoon. Boneh, how are you doing today?
I'm doing really well. Thank you. Yourself?
I am doing fantastic, and I'm super excited to get to talk to you.
Okay.
Boneh Roth is the Chief Financial Officer at Concord Premium Meats in Canada, and looked like you got your undergraduate degree in mathematics from New York University. Also attended Tel Aviv University, studied accounting, and I think maybe a based or licensed in Israel. I'm not sure if that is correct.
Yes, my CA license is from Israel, and I could show you it right over there if you really want it. It's in Hebrew.
And I saw something on your LinkedIn profile that made me chuckle, is because it's a common lament of all CFOs and CPAs like us is that whatever faith-based organization you're a member of, they make you the treasurer.
Yes.
I stopped telling.
So actually, if you're saying I didn't want to be treasurer for various reasons that I won't get into, but I was the treasurer of the Canadian musical playwriter workshop because my friend's son was running it. So that's not really my wheelhouse.
So it seems like that it as soon as, and I know you're seeing the same thing, as one of us or any of us say what we do for a living, oh, I'm an accountant, boom, guaranteed you're getting nominated to be treasurer. And so I've stopped telling people I'm an accountant because I don't want to be the treasurer. I want to be something else.
And what is it that you want to be?
I want to be on like the sales and marketing committee. I think that would be cool. You know, that'd be fancier than just being the treasurer all the time. I mean, we know how to be treasurer.
Yeah. Like we do that all the time. Let's do something else. I agree. I'm totally with you on that.
Question number 1. Boneh,
okay.
What is your favorite business book and why?
Okay, so I brought a prop, which is this. Okay, it's called The 10-Day MBA, and it basically confirmed what I always thought, which is I don't need to go get an MBA. This book really covers 2 years and $80,000 worth of studies. Now, I may have offended some people out there. Don't take it personally. I'm sure there's a lot more to learn, but this sums it up quite well. And so I don't often refer to it, but I got a lot out of just reading this book and understanding what MBAs learn over the course of their 2 years.
2 things that I remember is it's better to get paid sooner rather than later.
Okay.
And then number 2 was that there's a lot of things we're supposed to be doing, but one of them is increasing shareholder wealth. And was that in your book?
So that's a good question. I haven't read the book in a while. I would also challenge, so increasing shareholder wealth is, in the scheme of corporations, kind of 40 years old. And it's called into question today. And that'll be in further on. I have answers in terms of some of your questions. So yes, increasing shareholder wealth is important, but if it's the entire raison d'etre of your company, I have issues with that.
I like it, and I look forward to hearing more. Let's get to question number 2. What is the best advice that you've ever received?
Well, I think the best advice I ever received was before I was even in accounting, when someone said to me, you know, you're not God. And because people in our profession have a tendency to be perfectionists. And I really think that one of the things we need to learn is to not be a perfectionist. I mean, it started when I started. Like you said, I have a BA in mathematics. So for me, every number is a number. The first balance sheet I ever did was to the penny. And then I went back to school and you learn the whole concept of materiality. And materiality is not just an auditing term. I think it's kind of a life term, which is, you know, don't sweat the small stuff. Decide what's, you know, the concept, like separate the wheat from the chaff, like focus on what's important and what's material, which started when I was probably scolded at the time saying, you know, don't think you're God or don't act like God. You can't always know everything, which is, I still fight it. I still fight the urge to be, you know, omniscient, but I think it's important advice.
Amen. Very true. Good for all of us to hear. I feel like you and I both worked with the same sales and operations folks. They've often told me similar similar statements. Question number 3. What is a tool that you've recently started using or a habit that you've recently picked up that you found beneficial?
Okay, so that's an easy one. I don't know recently, but it's, let's say, in the last 3 years, which at my age is recent. Um, I went looking for a BI tool for a long time. Um, when I was in Israel, I worked with a tool called Cognos, which only when I came to Canada discovered that it was actually developed in Ottawa, in Canada. Um, and I kept looking for a good BI tool like it. I actually sat with Cognos people. It was way too complicated. They wanted me to be a programmer, which I wasn't willing to be. Um, so I went to a different tool. There were a few other names out there, some brand names, and I finally settled on a BI tool, which is basically Microsoft's Power Pivot, where we take all our sales information, of which we have a lot. You know, I would say we issue, I don't know, 30 to 50,000 invoices a year, and we have customers all over North America. And it takes everything and allows you to slice and dice everything whichever way you want to, which was always, a lot of the BI tools have restrictions and rules. And if you want to see it a different way, when I'm doing, let's say, sales by customer by province or sales by province by customer, it would be, no, you have to develop a different cube to look at it this way. And this tool allows me just to click my mouse and boom, I can see it either way I want to slice or dice. And we've got maybe 10 parameters in our business, which is, you know, where you're shipping it to, who the customer is, what protein you're making, what type of food you're doing, because we do cooked products and sausages and kebabs, and it just gives me the tools to play, which is inquisitive minds want to know. So that's the tool I've used, and I'm very, very happy.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about the Microsoft product, and um, we're a little old school where I work, but some of the team is using the Microsoft product. We've actually got some folks using the Amazon product for client-facing stuff, and it's exciting. I think it's the future of finance. So great tool. Speaking of that current job, Boneh, what's the best part of your current job?
Okay, so current job, I've been here 14 years, so it's been a while. I've always worked in manufacturing companies. I really like the fact that there is something made that you can, you know, hold in your hands or eat, at the end of the day, because it's always useful. The things we manufacture for the most part are things that people need and use, and I've always enjoyed being a part of that. In terms of my particular company, we've had a lot of growth in the last few years, and I love that. Like, if I had a tagline, it would always be, I maintain order amongst the chaos. Okay? Because when you're in a company that's, high growth or always looking for growth, there's always going to be some chaos. And you're always sometimes discovering things after the fact and then having to clean up the mess or whatever it is. You're smiling knowingly. Okay? Plus, my company recently has had a few acquisitions, a few companies that we're combining with, and all of that for me almost mirrors actual life. The only constant is change, and you're just constantly, sorting out and figuring out how to deal with new situations. And I much prefer that to accounting is a routine. It's the same thing every year, if not every month, if not every quarter, whatever it is. But along with that routine, I have a lot of changes, differences, excitements, new challenges. And that keeps me alive. That's what I like.
What about something personal about yourself that you wouldn't mind sharing with the rest of the CFO Council?
Okay. So, um, and this I find to be fairly unusual for an accountant, but I'm a lefty. And I don't mean that I write with my left hand. Um, People tend to frown on discussing politics. Um, I don't frown upon it. I consider it open discourse, right? And I'm originally, as you know, I'm from New York because you read my profile. So I'm from New York, so I'm American. I moved to Israel where I lived for 20 years, and certainly politics is the lifeblood of every conversation. And then I came to Canada because I needed a rest. But I, for me, it's important. I know a lot of accountants are conservative, fiscally and otherwise, and I enjoy challenging people. And part of my being a lefty is I challenge people and their political connections, their beliefs, even religious beliefs, right? You started pre-formal interview, you started talking about faith-based, that I was the treasurer of my synagogue, but I was never the treasurer because I didn't sit on the board because I'm actually an atheist. So all these things are just things that I like challenging, and because I don't only dish it out, I can take it. I like people challenging me because when you're challenged, you're forced to rethink your ideas and confirm or change them as the need arises. Probably weren't expecting that answer, huh?
Well, it's great that in this world we have diversity, all different types. And I think that's excellent. And it makes everything better when everything's a little different. So I am glad that you brought that perspective. And it's a great reminder that everybody all of our friends and our neighbors and our coworkers, everybody's got different history and different background and different beliefs, and it makes us all better.
I would agree with that 80%.
Well, that's pretty awesome. 80%.
Yes.
Goodness
All that is
gracious.
true. There are 20% I wouldn't mind if, the ones who are opposed to diversity, right? As a matter of
Well,
fact, when I was way back with my brother, he used to accuse me of being intolerant. That was a while ago. So why are you so intolerant? And I would always say, why can't you tolerate my intolerance?
you
So
just stole my line. We're like the same person. There's like 3 times where I was about to say something and you said it. And I was just about to say, well, we need to be tolerant.
Sorry. I'll let you have the next one.
Thank you. Well, question number 6, last question. It happened so fast. Boneh, what is something that I should have asked you and I didn't? And what is your answer to that?
Okay. Well, I've kind of weaved it in through our conversation, which, you kind of introduced me, but you didn't just say, tell us about yourself, right? Open-ended question, right? You started with direct questions. I kind of not hijacked the conversation, but made sure to interweave some things about myself. So I'm from New York. I lived in Israel. I'm now in Canada. I can say my wife is British. My kids have 4 citizenships. So, which everyone tells me is impossible. And I say, yeah, well, they haven't disappeared in a puff of smoke. They still exist. And they have 4, and 4 passport renewals are a little pricey. We've kind of given up the renewal of the US passport. No offense, but that's where we are. And the other thing is, I'm a globalist, but not in terms of, again, what most people think when they hear globalist, globalization, which has now recently come under attack or serious reconsideration. I'm a globalist in the sense that I believe in solidarity. Like, we're all in this together in many, many ways. The entire planet, whether it's with climate change or dealing with the pandemic when it came. And one of the disappointments for me during the pandemic was I thought it was an opportunity for us to show that we're all in this together. And I don't think we stepped up to the plate, unfortunately. So again, controversial. I'm sure there are going to be some anti-vaxxers out there, even though accountants like to mitigate risk. So you'd think a vaccine is one way to do it. But I don't shy away from putting out the challenge there. I think we're all one planet and we all better learn how to make it work.
I like to say that I'm a global citizen and a people person. That's what I like.
And
I'm not sure.
I'm there with you. Absolutely.
Boneh, we need to be like best friends. This is awesome.
Okay. I'm glad you liked it.
Well, we covered all the topics, folks: politics, religion, finances, the purpose of business. We did it.